Hey guys, welcome to the place to be if you want the dirt, the scoop, the warts and all representation of the best and the worst movies ever to grace our screens. Now, as a film critic, I attempt to poke holes and savage the writhing corpse of lackluster films, but also to laud and give rightful adulation to strong, creative and impactful filmmaking in all of its spectacular and glorious splendour. Now, don't forget that every film that is critiqued will be assessed according to the Smiles and Cries barometer of success. So kick back, my little friend, and enjoy the fruits of my labour, and indulge me as I share my humble opinions on each piece of fresh chummer of film that I get to sink my teeth into. Training Day. This is a 2001 American crime thriller directed by Antoine Fuqua and written by David Ayer about a veteran officer who escorts a rookie on his first day with the LAPD's tough inner city narcotics unit, and it's a story that follows their intense 24-hour shift in some of urban Los Angeles' most dangerous neighborhoods. Then you've got Ethan Hawke, Jake. He's a wet behind the ears innocent cop, but with an edge to him. You've got the magic eye, as Denzel says, has been on the force for over a year and a half now, and he wants to make detective. But that means joining narcotics, and on his training day, he must impress Alonzo, Denzel Washington, who's a crooked, burnt out but streetwise cop. He soon realises that this is a cop who crosses the line frequently, a twisted, demented and self-assured detective who may have started out with the right intentions as a cop, but then gradually becomes corrupted by the very streets he was supposed to police. Training Day is a blistering action thriller, and it's where Denzel Washington chomps down on the role of an unprincipled narcotics cop with great aplomb, and where we hadn't seen Washington play the bad guy before, and this is where Denzel showed his ferocious, menacing, dominating, downright charismatic screen performance, and that is what makes this film great. Now, Bruce Willis was offered the role of Alonzo, but thank God that Denzel took it and he was finally cast. And as they say, the rest is history. This is the most intense ride-along ever, and this is a wild cop drama like you've never seen before, and where it could have been just another corrupt cop thriller, if not for the involvement of Denzel, who works amazingly against type to portray one of the best and most memorable screen villains we've seen. All of the action takes place during a single training day, and here there's enough action in this short time span to fill the entire career of a normal cop. It is fast, it's furious, and it's extremely watchable. It is a broader interpretation than a simple contest between good and evil. Training Day is a basic storyline and is a picture of Los Angeles where some cops may be dirty, but the streets are in places choked with dangerous criminals and a criminal underbelly. The film offers an engaging introspection into the subject matter, and this is solidified with an outstanding and compelling performance from its stars that gives the film the extra chutzpah that it needs. Antoine Fuqua's Training Day is one of the finest films that takes place over the course of a single day, a single and memorable training day. I also love the little details, such as in one scene when Alonzo is firing both his pistols at once. He holds the one in his right hand upright whilst the left one is turned sideways. Now, he did this because both of the Smith & Wesson pistols that he uses have right hand ejector ports, and in holding the left one sideways it caused the spent shells to eject straight downwards and instead of sideways, where they might have struck Alonzo's right hand and then caused him serious burns. Then we've got the scene where Alonzo is scraping both his guns together to a drug addict. This was also improvised by Denzel. It's the one where he says, "Make a decision." I love that stuff. This is all Denzel all the time, and it's just his screen presence, his relentless power. Training Day is an interesting thriller where Washington truly shines, as stated before, but where Ethan Hawke also provides the equally necessary and inspired work of a co-actor in many, many scenes that leave you enthralled throughout this powerhouse of a movie. Antoine Fuqua said, "There's something innocent about Ethan. He's just such a nice guy, but there's also something in his eyes that tells you that he's seen something." Denzel Washington delivers with his callous lines, carrying malevolence and more weight and authority as the film picks up its pace. Also, interestingly, the license plate on Alonzo's car is ORP 967, and this is a nod to Officer Rafael Perez, who was a disgraced LAPD officer who was born in 1967. Then, to give his character a much more authentic aspect, Denzel Washington even decided to have the same look as the disgraced LAPD officer Rafael Perez. Denzel Washington has frequently said said that Detective Alonzo Harris is his favourite character that he's played. At times the camera is pushed in for close-ups of the characters, sometimes as they're just about to explode, and it seems that Antoine wants the viewer to feel the heat radiating from the characters, and this is what makes his brutal, fierce and tense police thriller even more compelling. And Training Day takes a well-worn format and infuses it with freshness, brutality and verve. It is a gritty and dark undertone embedded throughout, with a narrative that goes on to intrigue you and thus make you much more invested in the characters. Training Day isn't just one of the finest cops and robbers thrillers that I've seen in recent years, in that it is full of devious twists and tension. It is one that delivers tense, polished and well-made action. It's been celebrated for its gritty portrayal of moral ambiguity and the challenges faced by law enforcement officers in the line of duty. This is an intense little movie with some solid acting across the board, with a thrilling finale, and on that note, the ending may be less than satisfying and could have been handled a bit better, but Denzel Washington reminds us why he's such a great actor in this thrilling, taut and brutal police film, and Training Day is a tour de force. During one of the end scenes when Jake plays cards with the Latino gangsters, director Farquhar gives certain instructions to the actors who played the gangsters, and all without telling Ethan Hawke, so that he was further confused when they reacted to something, so as to add to the tension to the scene. Later, Farquhar said that the production was a very intense period of his life, and where some of the locations in South Central Los Angeles had included some gang-infested neighbourhoods, and it was also a period when Farquhar was going through some personal grief in the middle of shooting, and this was reflected afterwards when the film was released, where Farquhar needed to step away from it, and as such he didn't do much publicity. The film also contains a lot of strong language, some brutal violence and some nudity, and interestingly the word is used 211 times. I also found out later that Christian Bale had auditioned for the role of Jake, and as David Ayer, the writer, liked him so much, he then gave him the role of Jim in Harsh Times, another classic film. Training Day for me is a prime example of how some scenes can elevate a film to sublimeness. Alonzo talking about the street, the sheer magnitude to his character being portrayed is genius. The screenplay consistently reaffirms the idea that this is the environment that changes a person. Training Day is an amazing, excellent film that is sure to keep you on the edge of your seat, and it will blow you away as it has it all in abundance, from the casting, performances being top grade, the narrative being on point, the direction being superior, the costumes stunning, and the pacing just hitting. It's a riveting 122 minutes, and this is Washington's best performance so far. And whatever happens, he's the main takeaway from this, whatever way you look at it. So watch it for the first time, watch it again, and you will not be disappointed.